You're saying that you're tired of all your empty habits. You want something that's deeper cause you're over the generics. You're fucking with them basics when you really want the baddest. So come on baby, get it, cause to miss it, it would be tragic. You say you want a bad bitch, baby, now you have it. Now you got a bad bitch, show me you can handle this. Say you want a bad bitch, baby, now you have it. Now you got the baddest, show me you can handle this. Bad bitch, bad bitch, bad bitch, bad bitch, show me you can handle this. Bad bitch, bad bitch, bad bitch, bad bitch, show me you can handle this. Oh,
And we're on another show with Brittany and Lacey with Bad Bish Media. And tonight we have Travis J. the Poet with us. How are you doing?
Good. How about you?
We're doing great. Go ahead, Lacey. Kick it off with something.
Okay, when did you start with music?
So, I started music a year ago. My first release was December 3rd last year, actually. And I started recording a little bit before that.
Okay. Who would you consider a big role model in your life?
That's hard. Role model wise, okay. So I have a lot of different role models when it boils down to it. But lately, because of what I'm trying to do with my business and my life, it's more kind of like what Tech Nine has done with his. Like, it's strange music.
Okay.
And kind of the Rock. Honestly, I know it might sound cliche to some people, but the Rock lately, some of his postings and his videos and what he went from, I grew up with him as a WWF wrestler,
right,
to what he is now today, and it's amazing because, I mean, I know his dad did kind of get him into wrestling, but he did build everything else on his own, his energy drink brand, his everything, and that's kind of like the big, like, role models up there that I look to, because that's kind of what I want to build with mine, is an empire.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, so when did you start working with Brody?
With Brody? We literally, honestly, we just started working a couple months ago together. So we kind of started interacting here and there through comments and stuff through Facebook, because we met through, I believe it was the HOG group that I was in. And we met through there, and then we kind of connected. I honestly it's very hard to remember the exact day we connected. But we've been working together for a couple months now, actually, and yeah, it was crazy. It all just kind of came together. We just started talking, and we both had the same interests. And he wanted to know how to get his music out there. He said something on Facebook, and that's where I kind of chimed into that, and then we just started going at it.
Yeah, he's a cool. He follows Jax, my son. So we talked. He talks a lot about Jax. He loves him. I think he's like his number one fan. I love it.
That's awesome.
We heard that you write poetry, hence the name.
Yes.
When did you start writing?
So, I've been writing virtually like my whole life. Not necessarily poetry, but I've always had a knack for writing short stories. And when I was younger, like, very creative, very making stuff up. And then, I got older, and then girls and fun and drugs got in the way of that. But I wrote in my journal. I've had a journal most of my adult life, and a lot of my old journals, I had a couple of them, but they got lost. Personal life and stuff, you lose stuff. But I really started focusing when the pandemic hit. Really, COVID hit, and right before then, I've been a manager everywhere I worked, and I got turned down for a manager spot where I work now. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I was listening to Tom McDonald like that. I hated music for years because of the mainstream stuff, and you guys know how it is. That's why we're all independent. How the mainstream stuff is. So I found Tom McDonald, and then I started writing my own poetry, and I'm like, well, my addiction, my old addiction could help people. And instead of running away from being an addict, why don't I embrace it and try and help some people? So I was like, I'm going to write some raw poetry. And I was like, so I did. I took some of my journal entries, turned them into poems, and then just was like, well, I tried to talk to a publisher. They're like, oh, we want all this. You need a lot more. I'm like, you know what? No. So I emailed Nova Rockefeller, which is Tom's girlfriend. And I was like, where did you publish your book? Because it was right after she published her poetry book. And she told me where, which is blurb.com. And now that's what I use to publish. I tried to go to Amazon and make more money, and they just kept down in my book. So now I'm just strictly, through myself, and blurb.com, you can also find my book on there. But yeah, and then I started writing, and that's where all this started. I used my old stories to try and help people, and that's the ultimate goal here, is to help people and to let them know they're not alone. I mean, being an addict is a very judgmental thing to some people.
Mhm.
Yes.
You know, being an ex-addict, recovering addict, whatever you are, they still have those thoughts about you,
Yep.
whether you're in it or not in it anymore. So, and I don't think there's enough support groups, and there's enough suicides and deaths and relapses at the beginning of that pandemic that I was like, something's got to change. And whether I do it on a small scale or a large scale, honestly, I just want to help people find happiness.
That's awesome.
You know.
That's awesome.
Well, if you could sing with any artist, who would it be?
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
That's a rough one. That's a rough one.
Okay, top 3.
Okay. Top 3. Okay. So Dax, I'm going to say Dax, definitely number 1, because his message and what he's all about is a damn same thing, only from an addiction perspective of it. Problematic, definitely. Problematic. He's been another big role model in that, and his depression music and stuff. It's helped me in certain times,
Right.
where I didn't expect it. And then the third one, which I know is mainstream, and I know I don't like a lot of mainstream, but Travis Barker, I'll tell you what, I have followed him since I was a kid. He was just a drummer.
Right.
And this guy is right now, like, just drum for one of my songs. Like, just please, just one.
Right.
Like, he's everywhere. Every artist I've seen, Jack Case. Okay, so like every small artist that has joined him, I listened to him before this all happened. And now Jack Case has made a song with him. Like, Jack Case just moved to Los Angeles, and he made a song with him. Like, all these small artists, like, he's putting them on the map. And not necessarily to be put on the map, but just because I've looked up to him since I was a kid. Blink-182 is classic. Since I was growing up. That's classic.
Right.
Like, so, yes, definitely.
Do you and Brody, do y'all plan on making any music together?
Do we what?
Do you and Brody, are y'all making any music together? Are y'all doing any songs?
Oh, yes. Yes, actually, we have another song. Okay, so we just made that one, Mental Quarantine. And then we have a new one coming out in the middle of December, which is December 17th. It's called Take Back Our Planet. It's... okay, so if you know some of my music before, like Rona Got Away, Fooled Twice Over, what other ones? I have at least 30 tracks this year. It's hard to keep track of every single one. But the ones that are about the pandemic.
Okay.
So I've been seeing these people make music. I think it was High Res and someone else. I don't know if you know who that is. It's called The Revolution. It just came out like 2 weeks ago. He's a very small, I don't even know how, I found it on TikTok.
Okay.
Honestly. And it's about left and right and the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny that I heard that, because right before that, me and Brody actually that's what we're working on, is Take Back Our Planet. Is kind of comparing what we look at, how the world went dark.
Right.
How we feel it's went dark, and how we feel that it could be helped. Not necessarily, and there's no pushing one side or the other, because I'm very in the middle about all this. I think we should all just, come together and find a way to, be peaceful. And that's what this track is who gives a shit what side you're on, pardon my language, what side, left or right. The point is right now, we all need to come